Hello and welcome back to my channel on the insane things that I never thought I would have to talk about and say. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's timeline from COVID and the absolutely bat-nuts crazy thing that it has been, and how I'm pretty sure he's lying to you and why you should absolutely be pissed. Like really genuinely mad at the President of the United States. So let's just jump in and do this. I will be reading from notes because I do have notes that have highlights from each day because I do not have a perfect memory and I need to take actual notes, so deal with it. All right, so it starts with September 26th. Trump holds a rose garden ceremony both inside and outside for 200 people without masks, without social distancing. There is video out there of him and everybody just up in each other's business. You can go look for yourself. You can go look. It is known as the super spreader event at the White House by Dr. Fauci. That's not me. You got a problem with it? Take it up with Dr. Fauci because he's the one saying it. I'm just reporting on it, even though it's true. So, at least 11 people from this event did catch the coronavirus, including 2 senators who are sitting on the committee that will, the Senate committee that will, help confirm his Supreme Court Justice pick. Also, the First Lady, Kellyanne Conway, Hope Hicks, and the President of the United States himself. All are at this event. All will later on test positive for the Rona. All right, so then we have September 29th. Donald Trump shows up late for the the first and so far only presidential debate. He shows up late, so they do an honor system thing where they're like, yeah, he tested negative for the Rona, everything's good, trust us, we would never lie to you. We would never intentionally infect the president, or we never intentionally affect or infect a presidential candidate that we're running against. We'll arrest him, but we won't intentionally affect him. So they show up to this event, and they wear masks coming in. The first family wears masks coming in. They then do not wear masks for the rest of the debate. I watched the entire debate. I don't think I saw them wear. I think they took them off pretty much as soon as they sat down, which is not what they agreed upon because apparently the Trump administration and their family are just freaking above the law. They can lie about taking tests. They can lie about being clean, and they don't have to wear masks. Screw the CDC guidelines. Screw COVID. Screw it. But, the honor system. And if I was Biden, I would be mad. Luckily, he keeps testing negative, and I'm so eternally grateful because if he had gotten sick and died because the President of the United States was too freaking selfish to postpone. Okay. So, on September 30th, Trump and his campaign traveled to Minnesota for a fundraiser at a private home and an outdoor rally in Duluth. I would be so mad if I was that private fundraiser, if I was that private person that he brought the Rona into their home. They now have to quarantine for 2 weeks because he brought the Rona into their home. Because I guarantee you they weren't social distancing at this thing. They weren't wearing masks. They weren't doing anything to prevent the Rona. So this poor person has the Rona up in their home. He then attends a rally where he does not require masks. You can see the video for yourself. There are people that are packed into that thing. And yeah, that's just an actual thing. And at the end of this, Hope Hicks starts to show symptoms. So she flies back, quarantined on Air Force One. Yeah. So this is where it gets so much worse. We have October 1st. Hope Hicks tests positive. Trump, knowing that she likely has symptoms, and we don't have a time frame at when she actually got the test back, but they knew. I'm like 90% sure they knew. Trump flies out to Bedminster knowing Hope Hicks has tested positive, or will likely test positive. You can see in my notes where I'm not happy with this. And he then attends a private fundraiser where I guarantee you they were not wearing masks, where I guarantee you they were not social distancing, where I guarantee you he was spreading the Rona to literally every one of his donors, which is beyond incredibly selfish and stupid. They're giving you money to help you get reelected, and how do you thank them? You give them the Rona. Take your cash, give him the Rona. That's how incredibly selfish our president is. He actually infected, most likely intentionally, his own donors. Selfish. Okay. So that later that night, he goes on Sean Hannity and he admits that Hope Hicks has tested positive for the Rona, and that he is still waiting to get his test results back. Let me tell you something. The rapid testing that they have at the White House, although not as effective, still would have come back with a positive pretty freaking quickly at that point for him. He knew when he was on Sean Hannity that he had tested positive. They were just waiting to confirm it via the nasal swab. So, yeah. Okay. So he, at this point, is saying that they're going to quarantine for 2 weeks. They're going to do that, him and the First Lady. Well, then October, knowing full well he probably already has the Rona, he's going to have to announce it. But I don't think that he ever intended to announce that he was actually sick. Hope Hicks, he did not want Hope Hicks's he did not want Hope Hicks' diagnosis to be out in the public. So I guarantee you he would not have wanted his out in the public. And he would have happily continued to parade around acting like nothing was happening. So at 2 a.m. or October 2nd at 1 a.m., the Trump tweets that he and the First Lady have tested positive and are now entering quarantine. Later that day, Trump walks out of the White House and boards Marine One and his doctors also say that he has gotten his first dose of Regeneron, I don't know what that's actually called. Everyone calls it Regeneron, so I'm just going to call it that. The antibody cocktail. He is also given remdesivir, which actually is really effective. It's the one drug that I think was probably the most effective, and he gets supplemental oxygen as well. The President of the United States is given a cocktail of drugs that you and I, outside of an actual study, could not get our hands on, literally the next day after he is diagnosed. And that's a good thing. The President of the United States should absolutely have the best medical care in the world. But he does not think about that when he does the things that he is doing next. So I want to remind you, before we get into the next bit of this, that Donald Trump literally got a cocktail of drugs that no one else in the world has ever received. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so we were on October 2nd. Okay. While Trump's doctor says, on October 3rd, Trump's doctor said that he is doing well, and Meadows tells the media that Trump's condition is very concerning. They then put him on a steroid. They're lying to us. They lie about Trump's medical condition all the time. Like, literally, they lie about his weight. I'm pretty sure they lied about when he tested positive. And they lie about his treatment when he was on supplemental oxygen. And they lied about whatever happened at Walter Reed when he went in last year. Like, they hide things from us. This president could be dead, and I'm not entirely sure that they would tell us. That's how sketch the White House is being about the President of the United States' health. And I think we have every right to know when the president is deathly ill or very ill or something is going on, considering he works for us. Just saying. All right, let's jump on to October 4th. October 4th, the doctor admits that Trump's condition was worse than previously acknowledged. They lie. Trump puts his bat nuts propaganda Twitter, his first bat nuts propaganda Twitter, or propaganda video, out on Twitter. He is still wearing the same thing he was wearing the day before. He looks not great. And he just rambles, and it's not the greatest video. And then he says that he's going to go outside and visit his supporters that are outside the hospital. How does he choose to do this? Oh, he also says that he is visiting and with the doctors and patients at Walter Reed. That is, if you are a COVID patient walking around the hospital infecting military personnel, that's a problem. You shouldn't do that. So either he's lying or he intentionally infected military personnel, doctors, and people there receiving treatment. Those are the only two options. He then goes out into his SUV, endangering his own Secret Service. And there are Secret Service that have come out and said, we are not happy. This is dangerous. Why is he doing this to us? We are willing to take a bullet for him, but we shouldn't have to die because he doesn't care about us. And he puts them in a hermetically sealed SUV and then drives so he can wave at his supporters. That's an actual thing. That actually happened. Yeah. Okay. October 5th, doctors say Trump is improving and he can be released from the hospital. Trump says via Twitter that don't be afraid of COVID. You don't have to let it dominate your life. We have developed under the Trump administration, despite the fact that Trump had developed under the Trump administration, despite the fact that Trump had the best medical care and cocktail of drugs. See, you can see where my notes are and where I'm thinking. So he's telling you not to be afraid of COVID, that it's not a big deal, that it's no worse than the flu, and look at how well and quickly he got over it. You had the best doctors, some of the best medication, something that would cost the average person over $100,000 to get. If they could get it, because no one else can get it outside of a clinical trial, and you want to say that you don't be afraid of it. It has killed 200,000 Americans. But don't be afraid of it because you had a good cocktail and you had good doctors and it was given to you early. You got tested early. The average American cannot get tested early. The average American has to wait days before they get tested, and it could be a week before they get their results back. So, no, that is absolutely brain dead. It is insensitive and it is just disgusting what he tweets. But it gets better. Okay. And that night, Trump stages his triumphant return to the White House, where he basically does it. It's a propaganda video that is really worthy of North Korea. Like, dude, you're definitely modeling yourself after North Korea here. But he goes and he takes his mask off, still shedding the virus, I might add, and then walks back in with his staff and his Secret Service and everyone without wearing a mask, doesn't like his entrance, and then redoes it. Because it's fit for reality TV. Who cares who you freaking kill? The rules don't apply to you. Just give COVID to all the people that are trying to protect you because you are a selfish douche. On October the 6th, the White House officially admits that Trump was not getting tested daily and that he had been lying to create a false narrative that using testing as a preventive measure, they were not taking the virus seriously at all. They were not testing every day. They were not wearing masks. They were not social distancing. That is why 34 people have tested positive in the freaking White House. And he is not just endangering his cabinet. He is endangering the people that have to serve him. He is endangering the butlers and the maids that clean it and the Secret Service and everyone that has to work within the White House that is not getting paid buku bucks that I'm pretty sure he doesn't even acknowledge or exist or treats like they are human beings. Yeah. Screw them, right? Just screw them. Screw your average everyday working people. You cannot say you care about the working people, then intentionally infect them. The White House aides Also, the White House aides come out. Some White House aides come out, not on camera, but, on the record anonymously, that they are worried about the cocktail of drugs that Trump is taking and how that's making him act. He's acting unstable. We are going to do a video on his Bat Nuts Crazy interview with Sean Hannity and read some of his tweets in the next couple of days. It's legit insane. The president is acting legit insane. Okay. On October 7th, Trump's doctor says that Trump's blood has antibodies in it, showing that he is having an immune response, most likely due to the Regeneron that he is receiving, that is supposed to help with an immune response. It's supposed to put in antibodies and help you. Like I said, he is he's literally the only person outside of a study that has been able to get their hands on this drug. And he's saying that it'll be readily available soon, and they're saying they only have 50,000 doses ready to go. So they don't even have enough to treat people that were just diagnosed today, let alone people that would be diagnosed tomorrow and people that would be diagnosed the day after that. But yeah, don't be afraid of the Rona. Okay. On October 8th, Trump does a Bat Nuts phone interview with Sean Hannity. And then on the 9th, he does another Bat Nuts interview with Tucker Carlson tonight. We're going to discuss those individually, so I don't have to do that. Then there was today, October 10th, Donald Trump does an outdoor rally at the White House, breaking the Hatch Act. They're saying that he's testing negative, but I do not trust anything that comes out of this White House because they lie about his condition all the time and they don't follow the Hippocratical oath that they took, and you cannot trust them. You just cannot, which is really sad because you should be able to trust the president's doctors, but I don't trust him. He does this huge, basically after having a super spreader event 2 weeks ago, the President of the United States puts a bunch more people on the front lawn of the White House to spread coronavirus again. There was no social distancing, at least this time they were wearing masks. The President of the United States absolutely refuses to take this virus seriously. This timeline shows that he basically pretty much intentionally infected the former Vice President, hopefully future President of the United States. He infected a bunch of people at the freaking Rose Garden. He's infected 34 members of his own staff. He has possibly infected donors. He has infected Chris Christie. You name it, Donald Trump not taking this virus seriously has totally crippled his inner circle, and he still does not care. He gets some of the best medical treatment in the entire world and then tells us plebes to not worry about the coronavirus, even though we cannot get access to the same testing or the same drugs or the same amount of care, especially considering the coronavirus has been affecting the poorest people in this country, and Donald Trump is saying that they can get access to healthcare. They can barely afford the meds they already have, let alone $100,000 worth of cocktails just to keep them alive. So, no. It's absolutely disgusting. That is a timeline. Judge it for yourself. It makes me absolutely sick. Alright, guys, I will see y'all later.